Welcome, everybody, to celebrations around the world, St. Patrick's Day. My name is Tanisha, and I am joined here by Rain. Hi, Rain. How are you doing this afternoon?
Hi, Tanisha. Hi, everybody. I'm doing well. I'm excited to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with everybody.
Yes, we are so excited to jump into St. Patrick's Day. It's a really fun holiday. Rain remembered to wear her green. I did not. So we have one festive person with us here this afternoon. So let's go ahead and dive into our content. So, Rain, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera. I will invite you to do the same. So, a quick note before we dive into our celebration. So, as if some of you have been watching our celebrations programs before, you know that we do cover a lot of different holidays. A lot of them do have religious connotations, but we do like to focus on those cultural traditions of the holidays. So, we know that some holidays may be more sacred to others, but with our celebration series, we basically like to cover the basics and the cultural traditions and celebrations that surround them. So, just a little quick note about that. And before we dive into our content, I want to know who will be celebrating St. Patrick's Day this year. So, I got a survey for you guys. So, I just opened it up. So, I'm going to give you all a few seconds to answer. So, just let us know if you will be celebrating St. Patrick's Day this year. Give you guys a few seconds to let those answers roll in. All right. Almost everybody's voted, so go ahead, put your vote in. So it looks like we got a kind of a 50-50 split there. So half people are definitely celebrating, and we do have some maybes. So we got some yeses and some maybes. Let's see if our program here tonight will encourage you to celebrate or encourage you to observe the wonderful holiday that is St. Patrick's Day. So, Rain, can you see my screen?
I can.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away.
All right. So I'm really happy to hear that some of you are planning on celebrating or you're considering celebrating. So let me tell you a little bit about this awesome holiday. So St. Patrick's Day is celebrated on March 17th of every year. And the cool thing about it is that it's a celebration for everybody in the family. So it starts off early in the day, so your little ones can get involved, and there's lots of different activities that you can involve them into. And then the celebration continues into the wee hours of the morning. So feel free to celebrate any time of the day. And it's also celebrated all around the world in different levels and different ways, but it's celebrated everywhere. So it's kind of a big holiday. Some of the ways that we celebrate are through parades, live music, parties, and even just dinner at home. So, right now, if you wanted to just have a little St. Patrick's Day celebration at home. And a fun fact for you, to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, the city of Chicago colors the river green using vegetable powder. So the origins of St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day celebrates the St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland. Patrick became a priest and then he went to Ireland to teach the Irish about Christianity. And then he died on March 17th, year 461, which is why we celebrate it on March 17th, because that is the day that he passed. And legend says that St. Patrick chased all of the snakes out of Ireland, but that's not exactly true. He's not really talking about saints. This kind of goes back to what his mission was as a priest. So he wasn't really chasing the snakes out of Ireland. Fun fact, there aren't actually any snakes in Ireland. Did you know that? Many centuries later, the Americans of Irish nationality decided to start celebrating St. Patrick's Day. And they did this because they miss their country, right? It's important to continue the cultural and historical traditions and to honor where you come from. And so when they came to the States, they decided to start celebrating where they came from and the history and some of the traditions. So that was where it started. Irish Americans, they started the celebration that we know and love today And they started by celebrating via parades, of course, drinking beer, and wearing green, like I remember to do today, and searching for four-leaf clovers, eating corned beef and cabbage, and pinching people. All of that happened on March 17th. So the tradition about pinching people goes back to the leprechauns, and it's kind of a fun story. They believe that if you wear green, the leprechauns can't see you. But if you don't wear greens, then the leprechauns can see you, and the leprechauns will pinch you. So that's why it's kind of fun to wear green, because then the leprechauns can't come and pinch you. So another fun fact, the shamrock, according to the legend of St. Patrick, used the three-leaf clover, or the shamrock, to explain the Trinity. So there's a lot of history about St. Patrick's Day and why we celebrate, but it's important to remember that it's also about the culture and the people of Ireland, and just who they are as a people. And so it's just a celebration of the people of Ireland. Next slide.
Awesome, Rain. Thank you very much for all of that awesome information. You gave me a great base to talk about some of these St. Patrick's Day observations and celebrations. So, as Rain mentioned before, parades feature very prominently in the celebrations around St. Patrick's Day. So, the first recorded parade occurred in St. Augustine, Florida in 1601, which I just thought was really interesting that the first St. Patrick's Day parade happened in, well, it kind of makes sense that it happened in the United States, but to happen so early in 1601, I thought that was really cool. Perhaps the most famous parade takes place in New York City. So that is the one that everybody knows about. It's one of the largest in the world. It's one of the largest St. Patrick's Day that takes place. The first one took place in the 1760s and has grown to over 150,000 marchers today. So the largest New York City St. Patrick's Day parade that took place was in 2002. So there were over 300,000 marchers and 3 million spectators. So that is huge. That is I can't even imagine 3 million. I know Gasparilla gets like 200,000, I think. So, multiply that by however many. Montreal, interestingly, has one of the largest St. Patrick's Day parades in the world. The first one there took place in 1824. So Montreal also has a sizable Irish immigrant population, and their flag, the Montreal flag, also has a shamrock on it too. So I thought that was very interesting. Chicago's, like Rain mentioned before about the Chicago's River of Green, Chicago's annual parade was the first one that ever featured a river of green. So that actually has a quick link to Tampa. So I don't know if any of you guys are aware, but Tampa dyes the Hillsborough River green next to Curtis Hickson Park for St. Patrick's Day. So if you wanted to see a river of green, you can see it right in your own backyard. We do that here. And finally, Dublin hosts a several-day St. Patrick's Day festival with their parade drawing 500,000 spectators. So one of the most interesting thing about St. Patrick's Day, as Rain and I were discussing earlier, is that St. Patrick's Day is a holiday that has been embraced by the Irish diaspora more than it's been embraced by Irish residents. So they actually started ramping up their St. Patrick's Day celebration for tourism purposes. They noticed a lot of people were coming to Dublin, to Ireland to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and they're like, we don't really take it that seriously. And they decided to embrace that and turn it into a large celebration themselves. So interestingly enough, some of the largest St. Patrick's Day celebrations in the world actually take place in the United States. So let's go over some of the terms that Rain and I discussed this afternoon. So corned beef, something I thought that was interesting about it is that it is actually a stand-in. So traditionally, cabbage in Ireland was served with Irish bacon, But because of the price of importing Irish bacon, Irish immigrants started using corned beef, and they actually got that idea from their New York City Jewish neighbors. So the Jewish delis had corned beef, and so they started buying it from them to serve with their cabbage. The color green. How can we talk about St. Patrick's Day without talking about the color green? So it is most associated with the color most associated with St. Patrick's Day, because of Ireland being called the Emerald Isle, and it is one of its flag's colors. So another interesting fact, the color green was not always associated with St. Patrick's Day. The original color was actually blue. So green being a St. Patrick's Day color is actually pretty recent. Leprechauns, also known as small-bodied fellow. They're tiny, cranky men known for fixing the shoes of fairies and playing tricks to protect their pots of gold. So they're actually pretty minor figures in Irish folklore. But again, the popularity of St. Patrick's Day made them more popular. All right, so shamrocks. Of course, we've been talking about shamrocks a lot. You've seen a lot of shamrocks in our presentation here. It is a sacred plant that historically symbolized the rebirth of spring and later became associated with Irish independence. So it's also known as, I hope I'm saying this right, Seamroy. It's a Celtic word. And they were worn to protest English rule. So before Ireland became independent, Irish residents would wear shamrocks to symbolize their independence, symbolize them wanting independence. And let's hope I get this word right. So I looked it up too, Uilleann pipes. So this is the type of bagpipe that is at the National Bagpipe of Ireland. This bagpipe is played indoors while sitting down. So interestingly, in those St. Patrick's Day parades that you watch, those are actually Scottish bagpipes that are being used, because the Irish bagpipe is meant to be played indoors while sitting down. So there are Scottish bagpipes, and then there are Irish, the Uilleann pipes. So something interesting I also learned. So now that we have filled your heads with all of this information, before we get to the learn more, I'm going to ask you some more trivia. So go ahead and put your thinking caps on. We're going to have a quick trivia quiz here. So let me go ahead and ask the first question. Green has always been associated with St. Patrick's Day, true or false? I'll go ahead and wait for you guys to answer. I'll give you guys a few seconds. And you guys are amazing. Rain, isn't our audience amazing with these trivia questions?
You guys are amazing. You are learning all about St. Patrick's Day. That's pretty awesome. You're going to be the person in your community that knows all about St. Patrick's Day now.
Yep. All right. So everybody got that right. The answer is false. So it is. The original color was blue. All right. Let's ask that next question. What is used to turn the river green in Chicago? Was it dye, vegetable powder, or food coloring? Go ahead and give you guys a few minutes to answer.
This is a tricky one. Can you guys figure it out?
All right, Rain, what was the right answer?
The right answer is vegetable powder. They actually use a few tons of vegetable powder to color their river green.
All right, awesome. And so it looks like 80% of y'all got it right. Good job, though. Good call with the food coloring, because obviously if food coloring is meant to be consumed, then it's safe to think that it'll be safe for a river. So yes, good job, you guys. Good job. And let's ask our last question before we close things out here. Where did the first St. Patrick's Day parade take place? Was it in Dublin, Montreal, or St. Augustine? All right, good job, everybody. We got it right again. The answer, everybody got it right. Yes, the first St. Patrick's Day parade took place in St. Augustine, Florida in 1601. Good job, everybody. All right, so let me jump back into our presentation, and Rain, I'm going to go ahead and let you tell us all how we can learn more.
Wonderful. So obviously we were just able to give you guys a brief introduction to St. Patrick's Day, but now you really want to learn more because it's kind of cool to know about the holidays and why we actually celebrate them, right? So of course you can come to our website, it's hcplc.org, and learn more. So one resource that we have available is called World Book, and this is a collection of encyclopedias. And so it just gives you a brief introduction to different things. So you could look up leprechaun, learn about leprechauns. You could look up four-leaf clovers. And then if you want to dig deeper, some of our resources include Hoopla, which is a audiobook and ebook, and you can watch documentaries, all sorts of stuff on Hoopla, and the same with Libby. And Libby and Overdrive are the same thing. So you can use both of those resources to read and just learn more about St. Patrick's Day.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much. And Rain, I'm going to welcome you back on camera so that we can take questions. And so again, everybody, I definitely, if you have any questions, please, please, please drop them into the questions section. Rain and I are very happy to answer them for you. While we are waiting for the questions to roll in, just a few little wrap up things while we're waiting to get any questions. Of course, we end all of our programs with a shout out to something else we got going on. So we have just begun Women's History Month. So if you want to learn more about women's history and attend some of our women's history programs, go ahead in the chat section. We have dropped the link for our Women's History Month programming. Not only do we have the link to our programs, but we also have some wonderful reading lists there for you as well. So we definitely recommend that you check out our Women's History Month page because we got a bunch of awesome things there. And so Rain, it looks like we do have a few questions here. So the first one we have is it true that you can get pinched on St. Patrick's Day if you don't wear green?
That is true. So, like I said earlier, the legend goes that leprechauns will pinch you, but the only way to not be pinched is if you're wearing green, because green has magical powers. It makes you invisible. So, if you forget to wear any green on St. Patrick's Day, you can be pinched.
Oh man, so if this were St. Patrick's Day, I would be getting pinched today, huh?
You would be.
That stinks. All right, and so this isn't a question, but a comment, and this is what I love about doing virtual programming. We actually have somebody joining us from Chicago today. So you will have to let us know if they will be dyeing the river green this year. I know, unfortunately, Tampa is not able to, but maybe Chicago still will. And then our last question, so we got time for one more question. Is St. Patrick's Day popular in Ireland?
That's a really good question. And it is popular now. When St. Patrick's Day first started, it wasn't as popular. It was just kind of a way for, again, the immigrants to celebrate the holiday. And the Irish were kind of like, ah, that's kind of neat. But then as people started to come to Ireland and they showed their interest in Irish culture and history, and they wanted to celebrate it with the Irish, like, hey, I want to celebrate this with you, then they were like, hey, we'll get on board with this. So they started doing their own parade and inviting people to come celebrate Ireland with them.
Awesome, yes. So that was, I think, Rain, we both mentioned before as we were researching it, the interesting thing about a holiday that celebrates Irish culture is that the big celebrations are outside of Ireland. So always thought that was very interesting. All right, so thank you guys for those questions. We always have some great questions when we do our programs. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. So thank you so much for joining us. Of course, if you need to contact the library in any way, that is by phone, email, text, chat, carrier pigeon, we have our contact link there if you need to reach out to us for any reason. Also going to do a quick plug again for our Women's History Month programming. Again, that link is available in your chat section. So if you want to click on that link to learn about how the library is celebrating Women's History Month, I definitely recommend that you do that there. And of course, if you would like to know about any other library programs or events, the link to our library events calendar is also available on the slide. So we definitely recommend that you guys all check out what we have to offer. Rain, it has been a pleasure having you celebrate St. Patrick's Day with me this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was a lot of fun to celebrate with you guys. And I hope even if you don't do something big, wear a little bit of green and say, Ireland is pretty awesome. So thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. And with that note, I think Rain sent us off very well. So have a good evening, everybody. And thank you for joining us. Bye now.
Bye.